Hey folks, it's the Hacksaw. Welcome back to the channel. I am in Tallinn at the moment, so I've spent a couple of days here and had actually a really nice time. It's a beautiful city, there's loads to see and do. I actually did two main things that I just wanted to tell you about. One was I went down to the seafront where there is it's an old seaplane harbour that's been converted into a museum. And so they've got lots of seagoing vessels, a couple of competition winners, and Estonia's first submarine, which is really cool. And you can go in it and see how people lived on there. I think they had something like 20 people that would live on board this submarine. And really, it was pretty tiny. They had like a little crew quarters, and basically the torpedo room was the only room that they had to actually like have fun, play cards and stuff. Just crazy having such a small amount of living space between all those people. Anyway, really, really cool stuff to see. The other one was that I went to the, I think it's called the Museum of Occupation and Freedom. And honestly, I mean, it's one of the things that I wanted to learn a bit more about. I've been reading about the Cold War and about Soviet occupation of the Baltic states for the last couple of months, and it's affected me quite a lot more than I thought, especially this museum, because it goes through, you know, some of the personal stories of people that have lived through occupation of both the Nazi regime and the Soviets. And we just give so much for granted, or we take so much for granted, especially in the Western world. You know, we in the UK have not been oppressed like that before, or certainly not for, you know, in that sort of way. And, you know, people were rounded up, treated incredibly cruelly, and just forgotten about, murdered for no reason other than they just believed something. They wanted a bit more freedom. They, you know, they didn't really, they had a religion that the state didn't agree with, or, you know, just incredible cruelty, absolutely incredible. And the stories are really sad, and yeah, it's affected me quite a lot, actually. And yeah, so I found it quite difficult going around that, and I got a bit teary, actually. And even now, it's still quite hard to think about. So yeah, it's something that I really want to explore a bit more about. I want to do more reading on it. I think it's, you know, I just think there's so much that, like I say, we take for granted in the West, that, you know, you can see the echoes of a lot of history happening at the moment. And, you know, it's really important that I think we go and we see some of these things, and we don't forget those lessons of history, because, you know, the people here know, there are people alive here today that understand what it was like living under an oppressive regime where they weren't free to do what they wanted to do. They weren't free to say what they wanted to say, or love who they wanted to love, or whatever. And, you know, we don't have experience of that in the West. And yeah, anyway, so yeah, it really, really good couple of days though. Tallinn itself is really pretty. The old town is really lovely. It's on the top of a hill, and you can stand in a little spot, which I found a bit organically, actually. I just sort of stumbled across it, and you can look over the rest of the city, and it's a really lovely view. Anyway, but now is the time to catch a boat. So I'm now going to load up the bike. The hosts of the Airbnb here let me stay actually until this afternoon, which is fabulous. They've been really good. And so yeah, I'm going to load up the bike now, and then I'm heading straight off to the harbour actually to check in for the boat tonight. I've not done this one before, so this is a Tallink ferry, which goes from Tallinn over to Stockholm, into the middle of Stockholm. I think it takes roughly, I think it's 16 or 18 hours. It's something like that. It's quite a long ferry. So it leaves at about 6 o'clock tonight, and it arrives about 10 o'clock in the morning, tomorrow morning. So I've got an overnight, there's an overnight cabin. Mine's a very, very simple one. It's the cheapest one they had, I think a B class or something, which means I think it's got a fake window. It's one of those sorts of jobbies. So yeah, that should be quite interesting. I've done a couple of ferry crossings before, but not this long. So the ones that I've done have normally been across the channel. So they've been from France to the UK. And you can get them in about 8 to 10 hours. Some of them are a little bit longer, from Amsterdam, for example, not Amsterdam, from the Hook of Holland. So you can get the Hook of Holland to Harwich, which is the one that I'm going to get home in a couple of weeks' time. And then the ones from France, some of them are about 6 or 8 hours. But otherwise you get the Dover crossing, that's about 2 hours. So normally this sort of 16, 18 hour ferry is a bit unusual. So I'm quite looking forward to seeing what it's like, actually. I think the ferry itself has got a couple of different restaurants. I've actually already booked into one, so I had a table, and I'm at there at about 7 o'clock tonight, just to make sure that I had a spot really that I could get some food and just chill for the evening. And then, yeah, I'm going to do a bit of reading, and I'm going to load up the bike. So, yeah, I guess I'll next talk to you in Stockholm, or maybe from the boat. Actually, I'll do some stuff from the boat. But yeah, see you there. given a few things, little tickets. One of them is my boarding card here. One of them is my table reservation for tonight. And the other one I think is going to be my hotel room card, my cabin card. So they print them out here, you get them so you can go straight to your cabin. I think my room is B5333, which is nice. So I'm now waiting in lane. Motorbikes on the ferries that I've been on in the past tend to go last, so I probably will have to wait for a little while. But yeah, that's it really. Nice and easy. You just show your ID at the gate, they give you all your tickets. You wait in a queue. Traffic light tells you to go, and then you go and you board. That's it. Was easier than I think I expected. So there we are, we're strapped in just like that, nice and easy. Straps in, they give you a little bit of cloth to cover your seat, and we're all good. And I'm actually right at the front, which means I actually might be the first off tomorrow, which will be amazing because that normally doesn't happen. So yeah, a couple of other bikes here as well. Pretty cool. Nice. Time to get on board. Wow. Hello. It's a fake window. So, sofa and a drop top bed thing. There's a couple of others here as well. So there's a bed there. And another bunk. I don't know why there's so many beds, but yeah. And then you've got a little sort of washroom, shower thing. That's basically all I need, really. So yeah, I'm gonna plug some things into charge, and then go and get a drink, find a place to sit. I'm particularly enjoying that the fake window has curtains that are also kind of fake because they're not big enough to stretch across the window anyway. It's a very curious thing. Emergency ladders. Well, I assume they're not emergency ladders, they're just ladders for the bunk beds. But this thing is so massive. So there's a theatre, a nightclub, a casino. There's like 5 restaurants, a kids play area. There's several shops. There's like a clothing shop and a supermarket-y style thing. It's just huge. There's a passenger loading area over there that I can see. So that's where passengers are coming on, like foot passengers. And then there's cars which come on and then you come up the middle of the ship like you would any other ferry. It's enormous. I don't know what I'm going to do today. This is crazy. After dinner I might go and have a boogie. Go and have a drink in one of the 4 bars. Mad. So I've retired down to my little cabin in steerage, just with a quiet light on. I haven't put the big light on. It's now 10 o'clock and I don't want to be up too late really, because I want to explore Stockholm tomorrow. I'm preparing to bed down for the night. I think tomorrow the plan is basically to explore Stockholm, because I only really want to do the one day in Stockholm, I think, and then I want to get out into the countryside, because I think I've done lots of Tallinn over the last few days. But on the boat today, I want to get out, see a bit of Stockholm, and then my stay is actually a bit outside of Stockholm tomorrow, so I'm going to take the bike into Stockholm, park up Motorcycle Bay, get out into the sticks, stay, and then maybe disappear off into the countryside tomorrow night. In Sweden, and pretty good trip actually on the ferry. Woke up at well, just before 6 a.m. Tallinn time, I suppose. No, hang on, before crossing time zones is weird. Woke up just before 6 a.m. Stockholm time, which obviously was just before 7 a.m. Tallinn time. So I've gone back in time an hour, and yeah, I've spent the day here in Stockholm, which is nice. I think I'm a bit done with cities now. I've done quite a few in the last week and a bit, because I've done the big ones in the Baltics and now Stockholm as well, and I feel like that's all I've done really for the last week. And so I kind of want to get out of the city a little bit and into the countryside, which is a bit of a shame, because Stockholm does seem really nice, and there's lots of, like, all of the islands seem a bit different, and this is beautiful. I mean, I don't even know, look at that old door, what is that? Where does that go? But yeah, so my next stop is a little bit north of it's still in the city, but it's in one of the suburbs. So I'm going to get out there. It's a little apartment. I'm going to find a supermarket that's not too far away and grab myself some food for this evening. I'm going to see if I can actually cook something. Maybe maybe I can find some meatballs. That would be fun. Had a little bit of fika in a restaurant, cafe a few minutes ago, which was quite nice. They really do fill up at about 3 o'clock. They start to get quite busy as people come out and get their afternoon coffee and pastry. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to leave it there for today. So thanks once again. I think we're now at like 70 odd subscribers, which is just awesome. So thank you very much if you're subscribing. If you're not subscribing, why not? You should. No, in all seriousness, it would be really, really lovely to have you along, and yeah, please like the video if you liked it. Leave me some comments as well. It's always good to read your comments on what I'm up to, and any questions that you've got as well about the travels. Yeah, one other exciting thing, so my city stops seem to be times when I'm picking up provisions and things that I need for the more sort of intra-town travel. One of the things I've been looking for is a new 360 camera, and I wanted to get the Insta360 X4, which is the new one, but it's just been out of stock literally everywhere for months. And like UK, most European countries, I just cannot find it anywhere. And just happened to pop into a little photography shop earlier, and they had one. And it's the first one I've seen for weeks. I haven't been able to get it in the UK. It's just been out of stock. So I just grabbed it. I don't really have the right connector for it to stick it on the bike yet. I haven't really worked out the audio, but I have the camera, so that's good. So hopefully we should be able to get some slightly better on the bike footage, which will be quite nice. And you know, when things happen, we might actually be able to pick them up a bit better, which will be good, because there's lots of stuff that happens on the bike which you don't really get to see because it's out of shot, and I can't really describe it well enough. You know, one really nice thing that happened the other day, I was coming out of the forest after my beaver trekking, and this couple came up to me just out of the blue. They'd seen my pink mana bag in the back of the bike and ran over. It turns out they were from Vienna, and they brought me a pack of Manna wafers and said, you can have these are Manna, it's from where we're from. And I was like, that's really sweet, I've got some, but thank you. And we had a little chat, and they'd come up here, and they were up in Estonia, and they brought some with them because their friends up in Estonia really like them and they can't get them, and so they brought them with them, and it's just really nice. We had this nice little chat, and you don't capture those sorts of things, and I'm hoping that with a camera that can capture everything in 360, we might be able to get a few more of those little moments. So yeah, fingers crossed. Anyway, so I'm going to have a play around with that later on as well. Yeah, and then say goodbye to Stockholm. You can't quite see the background there, but there you go. It's like a ship in the harbour and all sorts. It's a very nice city, this. I'm really enjoying Stockholm. But yeah, so I'm going to have a little trek through the city on the bike, get myself over to the apartment, and catch you there. Catch you in the next video, I suppose. Thanks for coming along. See you in the next one. Cheers.